Let's explore some strange grains. I'm not scared of strange grains. Hey guys, welcome back. Sydney here, and we are continuing our talk about strange grains today. So we're going to talk a little bit about millet. I know we did ground millet the last time, and this time we're going to be using fresh millet. So to cook this, very simple. I cooked it ahead of time, but you just do a cup of water, a cup of millet, 2 cups of water, and cook it. So I already did that ahead of time so that we can kind of move along. But it fluffs up and it over doubles whenever it makes our fresh millet, or cooked millet. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna cut up this onion to start with, and we're gonna put it in our pan. You can use a shallot here if you prefer to do that instead of an onion. I just could not find a shallot at the grocery store. So we're gonna use about half of an onion. A shallot does have, to me, a little bit more of a sweeter flavor. An onion is a little bit stronger and I guess more sharp tasting, more of that strong onion flavor. But I love cooked onions regardless, so I think that it will be still just as delicious. We are gonna be making millet cakes with spinach and carrots. So I do have a few substitutions just because I have to make substitutions for my little allergy baby. Anyways, so there's some different variety that you can do with this, and I'll talk a little bit about that and kind of what I'm doing different, but what would probably be more of a common thing for you to do at home. That is one thing about recipes, is there are tons of ways that you can adapt and adjust things to your flavor profile, your preferences. If you have family members that have allergies or food intolerances or anything like that, maybe you just have something that kind of irritates your belly a little bit and you want to substitute it out. Absolutely, there's tons of things that you can do. So don't be scared to cook just because maybe somebody in your family has an allergy or you have allergies. There's lots of options out there. So we're just gonna do a little bit of olive oil in a pan here. I'm just eyeballing, and we want that to kind of heat up. It's already getting a little warm. And we're just gonna cook our onion to start with. And then I'm gonna add in some garlic, of course, because you know that's my go-to. We're gonna add that in as well. So we'll start chopping up our garlic next. So millet we feel like it's a little bit more like couscous. Those of us who've tried it here in our studio. You can see it here. It really puffs up, and if you cooked it, I talked about you can make puffed millet where you can throw that in a pan and it will puff up. So typically that would be with dried millet. You would dry it, you would use dried millet and then cook it on a stovetop, and it will puff up more so than it puffs up when you cook. And that you might see it called popped millet, but that is really good in like cereal bar recipes, or you could even use that as a substitution for like Rice Krispie treats. You could use popped millet. So just something fun and different to do and explore with. Don't be scared to explore with things in the kitchen. It's fun to do something a little bit different and change things up. Now, as far as for health reasons, millet is great for, it does have a lot of fiber in it. It is considered a whole grain. It's not like quinoa is a complete protein. That one does not have all of those amino acids, but it still does have some protein in it as well. And then the fiber is the big part of kind of our benefit from using the millet. We're going to be using hemp seeds today, and I absolutely love hemp seeds. They are really good on top of smoothies, yogurt bowls. You can throw them into recipes. We actually grind it up and we made like a hemp milk with it. So that's a little bit different than probably what you would think of, but I tasted it and it tastes very similar to like almond milk. So if you are a big almond milk person, you could even make your own hemp milk at home. And it's very easy to do and easy to make. So I'm just cutting up our garlic, just making sure this garlic looks like it's not the best that I have seen. Returning to the office, some things you're just not sure how fresh they are, but it looks good. It still smells good. So you want to just do a little check over your food when you're cutting it up. So we're going to finish chopping this up. Our onions are sizzling in our pan. We're going to let those cook for just a few minutes, and then we'll finish working on our cakes in just a minute.
At Fisher's, it's not just about fashion. It's about exceptional service. Experience top-notch customer care and find your perfect look. Visit Fisher's today and feel the difference.
The average American household has 17 devices connected to the internet. With more and more devices able to get online, you may need to increase your internet speed. Call Star Communications today and let us help you select the package that's right for you.
Computer viruses, malware, and ransomware are out there. They're dangerous, and they can steal your identity and damage your equipment. Star Communications is now offering Protect IQ. This service adds an extra layer of protection to every device connected to your network. Working quietly in the background, Star can help you protect yourself from the inside out with Protect IQ. Call Star today and take advantage of this free service when you sign up for whole home Wi-Fi with Star Communications.
Hey guys, welcome back. So our onions are nice and cooked. Got our garlic chopped up. We're gonna add in some carrots now. I just bought the matchstick carrots because y'all know I'm all for simplicity. But you can, of course, buy 2 whole carrots and shred them yourself, or you can just go the easy route. For me personally, I like to use the matchsticks in other things. So I'll put them in salads or soups and things like that. So I tend to use the carrots more often if I have them pre-chopped like that. Think about that whenever you are choosing your meals and choosing your foods. It's all about what's going to make the most sense for you and your family. We talk a lot about trying to save money and what's the better buy. And part of that is also not only cost-wise of that item, but are you going to use that item? Are you going to actually use it in a lot of things at home? And if you do, then that's going to be more cost-effective for you and your family because it won't go to waste. And it'll help you eat more at home. You have to consider all of those things. If you're going to be able to eat at home instead of having to eat out, all of those things are important. So I'm just chopping this up a little bit. We need 6 cups. So cutting board is only so big. I'm just kind of doing a quick rough chop, and I will use this. I will likely use this whole bag. Maybe not quite the entire bag. A few little wilted pieces. You always want to check your spinach a little bit as well. Spinach is one of those foods I've been trying to eat more of just because it does have some good iron in it, and also your dark leafy greens do also contain calcium. So My daughter has a dairy allergy, so I am trying to find calcium sources in other things. Fun fact, if you don't have enough calcium in your body and you are feeding your baby, breastfeeding your baby, then your body actually pulls the calcium from your bones and starts using that up. So don't want that to happen, right? I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting plenty of that still in my diet through other sources. All right, keep on chopping over here. Doing pretty good. So we've talked a little bit about the grains that we're of course using today. I just want to touch on kind of probably what is more of our common grains that you might be using at home more often. All of these choices that we have can be substituted. If you're like, Sydney, these grains are way too strange and I'm not going to make any of your recipes because this stuff's weird. You're making weird stuff. You can substitute these things and still make these recipes with things that are more common. So for instance, we have the millet here. You could absolutely do kind of more of a rice cake if you wanted to do that. When we made our recipe from last time, we used the ground up millet in our fig bars. You could absolutely do like oats would be really good in that. And those would be a lot more affordable and cost probably a lot less. So that is one thing about these grains is they are on the pricier end. If you go to the grocery store and look, they are going to be a little bit more high-end cost-wise. But if you really enjoy them, your family enjoys them, it makes sense to you, you're looking for something different, it might be something that you substitute once a month just to kind of switch things up. But I would probably substitute like a brown rice for this recipe, or you could do white rice as well. Quinoa would also work here, but I think those are probably the two kind of go-to recipes that I would, or go-to substitutions that I would choose. So we're just gonna let our spinach wilt down here. It looks really pretty over here in our pan. And these are gonna be more of a savory dish. So I think these would be really good as a little side dish that you could have with, you know, any meat that you wanna have. You could even have these as your main entree and do some more veggies on the side if you're just really craving vegetables. But these will still be nice and filling, have some good nutrients in there for us, and hopefully very satisfying, even though they don't have kind of a lot of meat or anything like that in them. All right, so we're gonna let this kind of cook down. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of garlic here. And then when we come back, we're just gonna add in a little salt, pepper, and curry powder. All right.
Great communities attract talented people to live, work, and raise their families. We're committed to delivering future-proof broadband so our friends, families, and neighbors can live rich lives in smart rural communities across America. Your community is our community. We're your rural broadband partners. You do great things. We make great things possible.
At the Reedy Mark, we take pride in a unique, distinguished customer experience. We specialize in handcrafted cocktails, allocated bourbons, as well as gourmet signature food items exclusive to our menu at the Reedy Mark in Roseboro.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
Hey guys, welcome back. All right, we've got our spinach all wilted. So next up, we're gonna add our seasoning. So just a little salt and pepper. I'm just kind of doing it to taste. I'm not gonna do too much here. A little pepper as well. And then we are using curry powder here. Curry is kind of a strong flavor. So if you're not a fan of curry, you could absolutely leave this out. We're not using a ton. We're only using about 2 teaspoons for this whole mixture. You could cut that back to 1. Of course, I always say make recipes your own. You don't have to follow them to a T. But we'll do the recipe. So 2 teaspoons there. And I'm going to turn this off. And we're going to add this mixture in with our cooked millet. The curry does smell really good. So I encourage you to still put it in there even if you lessen it just a little bit. All right, that is hot. So we're gonna stir this up, mix it all together so all the flavors will kind of blend. And then we have a few things that we are gonna be adding to this. So the recipe calls for yogurt in it, or you could do an almond milk mixture. We are actually going to be using hemp milk. So I mentioned that hemp. These are hemp seeds. And let me pull them out so that you can kind of see what they look like. These do have some protein in them. Hopefully you can kind of see those. They've kind of got more of a nutty texture, but which is why when you make them into what we have here, which is our hemp milk, I'm gonna stir it up. You could strain this. I just don't bother because we're gonna dump it into a recipe. I don't typically just drink this like this, although you absolutely could. And you could even kind of sweeten it up. So the way that I made this was I just did water and hemp seeds. So I did about half a cup of hemp seeds, and I did about a cup of water because I wanted it to be thicker. You could dilute it even more, do like 3 cups of water, and it would be more similar to that consistency of like almond milk. But because I'm throwing this into a recipe, I really enjoy this as a substitution for cream and things like that, simply because I can't use that stuff right now. So this is just more for my own personal reasons why I'm using a specific milk. Yogurt would be really good for this because it helps to keep it nice and creamy, which we like. But you do what makes sense for you and your family. So 1/4 cup here. It says 1/4 cup plus like a tablespoon. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. And you can store that for later. It'll keep for, I would say, about 5 days in your fridge. But you will probably need to stir it up each time. Okay, and we're gonna add a little bit of flaxseed. You could also just do an egg here. We are gonna use ground flaxseed, and we need about, let's see, about 1/4 cup of flaxseed. So I used the wrong measuring utensil. That's all right. We got other options over here. Ground flaxseed is really great. We always say this is good for your brain health because it does have those omegas in this one, in this as well. The ground is better than the actual seeds. It's easier for your body to digest and use the ground flaxseed compared to if you're buying the seeds. Your body has to do more work to break that apart. And sometimes you don't absorb as much of those vitamins and minerals that we really use ground flaxseed for. Ground flaxseed doesn't really have much of a flavor. It's pretty neutral, great to add to smoothies. We were actually supposed to put that in our fig bars that we made, and I just fully missed that. But, you know, like I said, it doesn't add any flavor necessarily. It's more for the vitamins and minerals that it provides. All right. And then we're gonna just make these into our little cakes. So about 1/3 cup, and we're just gonna press these together. Now it does require us to refrigerate this so that they'll kind of firm up even more. But you can just use a 1/3 cup measuring cup, and then I'm just gonna kind of lay it onto my pan. Oh, and I did also add some cilantro to this as well. All right, so I'm gonna make our cakes, and then we will see you guys back in just a minute.
Welcome to Cork and Brew Roseboro, where you can enjoy your favorite coffee, fraps, smoothies, bakery items, sandwiches, and select beer and wines while reconnecting with friends and family. Sit down and enjoy the experience. Come on by and give us a try.
Hey guys, welcome back. So just to fill you in on what we finished doing with our millet cakes, we formed them into the patties that you guys saw, and then we put them in the refrigerator just for about 15 minutes so that they would kind of firm up. Then we put them in the oven, and we just drizzled a little bit of olive oil on top of those, and we're putting them in the oven at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. I'm going a little bit over that 30 minutes. I just checked them. And they're not as crispy as I want. So I'm gonna keep them in there a little bit more. So, you know, look at them yourself and decide and determine if you need to go a little bit longer. Our very last recipe, I've done this quickly because we only have so much time left, but our last recipe is a banana muffin recipe. And this uses cassava flour. Cassava flour, it's a grain-free flour. This actually comes from the root of the yucca plant. So they actually take that yucca plant and grind it up and make it into a flour. And while the yucca plant itself, or the yucca root, has a little bit more of a nutty flavor, when it's ground into the flour, it's more of a neutral flavor. It doesn't really have a lot of flavor at all, which makes it great for tons of different recipes, great for baking, making pancakes, things like that. So we are using that in our recipe today. And then we also have a little bit of cinnamon, baking soda, and some sugar as well, of course, to sweeten this up. So that's all of our dry ingredients. You put all of that into a bowl. Your wet ingredients are mashed bananas. I did 2 bananas mashed up. You need about 1.5 cups. And then a little bit of oil. You can use coconut oil here, canola oil. I had olive oil on hand. That's just what I threw in there. If you're a big anti-olive oil flavor person, then probably opt for more of a neutral oil. So I just mashed that and went ahead and put my oil in. We also have some chia seeds here. So these are chia seeds. They are really good. Chia pudding is like a very popular thing right now. Some people will do chia pudding for breakfast. They'll do chia pudding. I've been doing it for like a dessert snack. Whenever I'm kind of craving something sweet, I'll do that with some chocolate chips. So you can see here, the chia starts to gel up. So we just put 1 tablespoon of chia and some water and it made this gel-like mixture. You could use this in substitution for like an egg in recipes. So same thing goes here. If you were making this at home and you have eggs at home, you could absolutely just use an egg instead of the chia seeds. But the chia seeds do provide 2 tablespoons of chia seeds has 10 grams of fiber, which is 36% of your daily fiber. We say anything over 20 is high. So these things are loaded with fiber, a great way to kind of get that into your diet. And then they just kind of give a good little crunch, a little something different. So we are gonna throw those in as well and just stir those in. And then we're gonna mix our wet with our dry. So just because I wanted you to see what was going on in our dry mixture, I didn't mix that up. So I'm gonna mix that up real quick. And then I'll add my wet in with it. I love just a different way to make some muffins. Of course, muffins are such a good option because you can put all different kinds of stuff in them. So we're doing like a chocolate chip banana muffin today, but you could absolutely throw in some raisins, cranberries. You could do more of a blueberry muffin here. You could throw in some nuts for a little bit of a different flavor, different texture. And then of course, nuts always up our vitamins and minerals as well. So we're mixing this all in, and then we're gonna add in a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which is going to react with the baking soda. So we're gonna add that in and then kind of mix it together quickly. All right, we got a little bit of extra dry here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in, just wanna make sure this is fully mixed. Add in our apple cider vinegar. So we need just a tablespoon of this, and then we'll fold in our chocolate chips. So you can see it's kind of making some bubbles here because it is going to react with that baking soda that is in your ingredients. All right, stir all of that together real good. You see it's making like a nice dough. And then we're just gonna fold in our chocolate chips. Got kind of a good bit of chocolate chips here. And that is it. So pretty simple, not a whole lot to this. Let's just like your typical muffins. Just gonna fold this and then we're gonna throw it into our muffin tins for about 20 minutes. So we'll show you guys what this looks like all at the end. I hope you enjoyed kind of exploring these strange grains with me, and I hope you try some strange grains yourself at home. See y'all next time.